Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 36 of Podcast of the Five Rings, your source of enlightenment in the realm of video games, tabletop, anime, film, and tech. Each episode of Podcast of the Five Rings releases Monday mornings on iTunes and Soundcloud, and now topic by topic, day by day on YouTube, with full video releasing on Friday. I am your new host and GM of this wonderful podcast, the Dark Fortune Duelist Meta, and I am in my rebellion. I'm also commentating with the wall that will not fall, Tetsuo.
Depose of our old regime.
Yes, that's right. And the resident wildcard, Mao.
Yeah, yo, Obsidian was sent to the Shadow Realm.
So the first thing you'll notice off is that Obs is not with us today. Our normal overseer has given us free reign, and we have immediately ordered beer and alcohol and pizza and all the fun things that he wouldn't normally let us do. So it's going to be a wild ride.
Drinking whiskey when we record?
You're not all getting drunk as we drink? I had no idea. I thought I was the only professional one. All right, we'll jump into it. How was your guys' week, actually? Let me ask that. That's what Obs does, right? He asks about you, he shows interest.
Fine. I didn't really do anything this week. I just didn't have it in me.
You know, that sounds about right, honestly. How about you, Tats?
That's pretty good. It didn't do a whole heck of a lot of anything besides some video game playing. Lamented the loss of Monster Hunter World's beta, but
yeah,
the main game will come soon enough.
It'll happen. Don't you worry. This will also be, we do have it in our name. It's kind of reference to it. This will also be the last week for the packs that have been coming out for the CC or the LCG.
The 6 and 6?
Yep, 6 and 6. This will be the last one. And then I guess we go for a period of time before they start giving us new ones again. So
yeah.
Everything will finally be out. We'll be over with this horrific thing that's called releasing them every week.
I think I've seen a lot of people say they liked it, though.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll be damned.
I don't know. I mean, I think people just like having more cards, like, because waiting just one pack a month, like, you know, just the core set, it's just a small amount of cards.
I could see that, and that would be fair because now you actually have some. Now we actually have some, like, you know, spread versatility. We're seeing clans that really needed these cards coming out, and the clans that were pretty dominating for a while are now a little bit more subdued.
Yeah, I don't know if this would have been, like, you know, if they decided to do this later down the road, if it would have been as well received, I guess.
Yeah. Who knows? I don't know myself.
I guess sales, we'll see if we'll do it again. Also, this could have just been for the holiday season.
It's very possible. In fact, I could see it since it perfectly lines up with now being able to get all of them as a Christmas gift present and then just, you know, throwing them under a tree for somebody.
Yeah.
So it's nice. All right, well, let's not delay any longer. Let's get into our topics. No dilly-dallying. Not while Obs is gone.
No. We're on a tight ship.
So we'll start with you, Mao. What do you got for us?
All right. Well, basically, just after we recorded last week, we had the Games Award the Game Awards, which are the industry-focused, video game awards ceremony. Like, I think it's 90% of all the voting is from people in the industry, and it's like weighted against 10% of online voting. They're hosted by Geoff Kelly, I guess is
Geoff
Kylie?
Kirliby. I actually don't know how to say his last name either.
Yeah, I don't either.
But I know who you're talking about.
Right. He's been hosting games awards and other gaming related things for like over a decade now, and he's the one who put these together. He produces it and hosts it.
He's done that from the start though, right?
Yeah. These started in 2014. Yeah. This was the largest yet. It had 3 times the viewers of last year's.
I mean, to be fair, it was a really good show this year.
It was a really good year for video games too.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah.
We got a lot of good stuff.
Yeah. We got to see a lot of trailers and whatnot. Though, even with the success, he said he wants to have like less announcements and stuff next year. He wants it to be a little more focused on the awards.
No.
I know like some of them, like he just like rapid fired like 3 out real quick. Like the best RPG is Persona 5, and then the next award real quick, which made me sad. But so I could see like why.
I could see why. I bet
like he doesn't want it to become another E3, right?
Yeah, I could get that. I definitely get that. I don't know though, but like a part of me is like, it was really nice to see some cool stuff coming out there because it kept me around. Because I personally am not super interested in who gets the awards, but they had the enticing, tantalizing chance of very good things coming out with it.
Yeah, I didn't watch the pre-show, but I tuned in at about 8, and the first thing they kicked off with was like a 30-second clip. And immediately I could tell it was From Software's style.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
And, yeah, I was just like, I need it now. Give it. Who knows when we'll actually give it. It was like 30 seconds of...
Oh, it didn't even show anything. All we saw was like a bloody wire attached to some like mechanism.
Like some
and,
bone trap thing.
Yeah, and then like Japanese writing in the background on some scroll.
Fake Japanese writing with a knife through it or something. And Japanese music. So
yes. There's
some theories out on that. Because they've got some X IPs that it could fit with, or maybe we're gonna get like Ninja Souls.
Maybe I'm thinking the wrong company, but didn't From Software also work on Tenchu?
Yes, Tenchu, and then they have another. Well, so the tagline was "Shadows Die Twice," and they have another game, Shadow Tower or Tower of Shadows, that people were like, I guess it could also be that.
I don't know. So, I don't know what Shadow is, but I mean, like with all the Japanese theming to it, with the music and the design and the background, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a Tenchu game.
Yeah, I mean, I never played those, but Shadow Tower was like an old PlayStation 1 game they made. It's like it's first-person dungeon crawler. Yeah, but
Probably
they said look forward. No, it was definitely not Armored Core. I think we could 100% roll that out.
I'm fairly certain. You know what? I'll eat my shoe if it turns out it's Armored Core.
Make notes. Amanda will eat shoe.
No. I need
anyway,
those shoes.
So yeah, I mean, we got some cool stuff like that. I think the biggest thing that people probably surprised as far as the awards went was that Horizon Zero Dawn, or Last Horizon as Oz calls it, didn't win any awards.
Yeah.
So sad. But a lot of the areas it was up against.
It was like Zelda.
So,
Yeah, Zelda just overshadowed it.
I think that's what kind of. You're absolutely right.
Because
like
Zelda ended up getting
year
Game of the Year, surprising no one. I think.
No, that didn't really surprise me.
At least it wasn't PUBG, right?
Yeah, no, at least it was a PUBG. I don't want any AA or whatever A kind of game that thing might have been classified under winning.
PUBG, I don't know what PUBG is classified as.
I don't care. It's PUBG.
Probably independent.
It's probably independent. I think it is independent, actually. Like, it's not even part of an actual big publishing or developing team.
I don't know.
I think it actually started as a mod for another game.
The creator worked on mods. I think the Bluesoft or whatever. He went to them, so they might. I mean, they're probably a small company or something. I don't know.
They might be.
Tangentially related to that, I guess. The first award was like best Japanese mobile game, sponsored by Tencent. Do you guys know who Tencent is?
I have no idea who that is.
I know. I saw some people were like, "Why is this a thing?" But Tencent is the largest investment corporation in the world, and they own Tencent Games, which is the largest video game company by revenue in the world.
Oh.
It's a Chinese company. Its leading game is King of Glory, which is a MOBA game based on Chinese historical figures.
No way.
And is the top grossing game in the world on iOS and Google Play in revenue.
Shit.
Because there's a lot of people in China, and like they don't quite,
What? Whoa, hold on. There's a lot of people in China.
Direct access to that market.
Whoa.
So yeah, they also own Riot, who makes League of Legends.
Oh, I did
I
not
think
know
they bought
that.
them in like 2013 or something.
I didn't know that. I thought
They
were
also
their own
own
company for a while.
Epic Games, or no? I think they have a minority stake in Epic Games, which is like Gears of War and some other stuff.
Mm,
But they also own Supercell.
I don't know what
believe.
Supercell
Yes.
is.
Who does all the Clash of Clans stuff.
So, okay, all I'm hearing is that they own essentially like everybody who has really successful mobile games. They own.
Yes, or MOBAs, I guess, for Riot, League of Legends.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah, they make a lot of money. They make the most money of anything video game related. So
all
that's
mobile.
why they get their own award.
That's why they get.
I just think it's funny. Also, they're doing the mobile version of PUBG in China.
That's it. Well, there's more money.
Well, there we go.
PUBG gets its own mobile game only in China, as far as we know at the moment.
Not surprised.
Mobile port, I guess. But yeah, so I was happy Persona 5 got Best RPG.
It's not surprising.
Yeah.
Really there to
Injustice
compete.
2 got Best Fighting Game, which I mean, I guess
Again, wasn't
Tets
surprising.
is probably happy with, right? You like the Injustice stuff.
Actually played the second one. I
Oh, you
enjoyed
haven't
the
yet?
first one. Yeah, I
Ah.
enjoyed the first one. I mean, I like fighting games in general, and I love the concept of it, but I haven't touched that one
Yeah.
yet.
To be fair, though,
Um,
there wasn't a lot in the fighting game market. There really wasn't a
I
lot.
don't
going
actually
against
even
them.
know what it was running against.
I probably Street Fighter 5.
Oh, I think Arms was
and
one.
Arms. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
which
really?
Arms.
yeah,
By the way,
it's-
Arms is good, but
yeah, I just don't think it's the best.
no,
fighting
it's
game.
by no means the
Right.
best. But it is good. So for anybody who
Yeah, it's
cares, it's
interesting.
actually a good game. Apparently,
That's Soul Calibur 6.
yeah. God. I
Yeah, I was gonna
gotta
talk
fan
about that. They
I gotta
revealed
fan
that.
myself real fast here.
Yeah.
No, I was just about to say.
Hopefully-
Apparently, Arms has amazing online. Like it is quick. There is very little frame delay.
Oh well.
So, which is
But
pretty
yes,
important.
they did reveal Soul Calibur 6.
My baby.
Yeah.
Oh, coming down with the case.
Meta
The
didn't
baby.
get
baby-
his
skills.
Devil May Cry last weekend, but
I
at least he
didn't.
got Soul Calibur 6.
I got an unexpected surprise.
Which, yeah, I mean, looks like they're kind of rebooting-ish the series.
I actually did look into it. Yes, it is a. It's not. They're not calling it a. I mean, they call it a reboot, but
Right.
they're more. I guess the better translation would be retelling, because it's
Yeah.
still the same thing. There's still people fighting. There's still people going after apparently a cursed
yeah.
sword. But
I mean, yeah, it's a reboot then.
yeah, but
Like, it's the same characters. And
it's
they're
the same
telling it
character,
a
the same
different
story,
way.
but they're just telling it differently now. So
Yeah.
but they're apparently they are making it more akin to Soul Calibur 2, which was one of the best-selling ones.
Good.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever played 2.
2 was, I think 2 probably was the best for most people. Just
Whichever one
because
had Link spawning,
That's
the guy
2.
from Tekken. That's 2?
That's 2. You
Yeah.
play if you played that one, you played the best version apparently. They are going back.
Probably was my favorite. I wouldn't say the best necessarily, but I thought it was my favorite.
They're going back to that one. That's the one that they're
Oh, yeah, it
just
is.
going back to. They're
So yeah, that's the one
copying
I
the
started
speed of the game. They're going to be taking into account like how it flowed, et cetera, et cetera. But they are working a lot of new mechanics. So
with.
It's Talim again.
They showed like 10 minutes of gameplay at the PlayStation Experience,
yes, and that's where they
but
talked a lot
I think
about
that's
it.
all that we've seen so far. I mean, it's only been a week.
Yeah.
Apparently though, it is like about 70%. I mean, this is just hearsay, but it's about like 70% into development. So
Yeah?
apparently it's actually
I
pretty
mean,
far along.
it looked like
It-
the base engine looks complete, and
Yes.
it looks like you can load characters into it. So probably like single player stuff might not be done. Like, if they have a
yes.
single player story.
Yes, they will have a single player
and
story.
then obviously adding in all the characters probably. Might
If-
also still be
Probably
done.
the balancing.
Apparently the story will be akin to Tekken 7 in the regards of how it's done.
We're gonna get some Noctis.
Not like that, I guess, but apparently that is the case. Is it will be more akin to that, so we will have a full structure of a story, as opposed to like just each character has an arcade story.
Oh, okay, that's kind of cool. Yeah. I think one of the probably the other big story uh, one of the things that probably got the most media attention was a rant
Yes.
from a certain director of A Way Out who did The Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. He just went off against the Oscars. He's like, fuck the Oscars. And then he turns to the host. He's like, can we swear? And he's like, yes, we're on the internet. Which he probably immediately regretted because he just dropped like 20 more
Oh,
F-bombs.
yeah, he should have said, well, I mean, like, yeah, he probably should have said, yes, we can, but we really should, try to keep as friendly as possible.
Kept going. And then he went off against EA.
Oh, God.
And then he remembered EA's publishing his game, so he tried to walk it back some. It was just so funny. I loved it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Literally stole the show.
That dude got like over 5,000 followers on Twitter.
Oh,
the
he
next
did.
day.
Just blew up.
Well, and what was also extremely funny to me was the next day EA marketing stuff leaked, and at the in part of it was they were talking about this game, A Way Out, and they're like, Geoff has a personality that is a benefit to us, but he's like very passionate and could be prone to controversy or whatever. So it's like EA already knew, like,
Yeah.
this could happen, I guess. So I just thought it was so funny. It's like, yeah, you're correct, EA. He already, but a little too late.
EA was like, we knew this was going to happen. Just let them know that we were kind of aware of it.
Yeah.
It was like, we know he was going to probably say something stupid.
Yeah. He was very passionate. Some people were like, how much cocaine is he on?
I always like that. How like the gentle, the politically correct, the business savvy way to say he will run his mouth off is he's passionate.
Yeah. Well, he kept saying how he was trying, I think, to I don't know, already damage control himself by saying how passionate he was for his game. And then the Geoff, the host, was just like trying to get to the trailer. He's like, we're like running out of time. We got to go. Come on.
He's like, we are on a clock here.
Yeah.
Which they are. I mean.
Right, yeah. And then also we got Death Stranding stuff, which no one understood.
Once more, I'm going to say it. It'll be a great movie.
Yeah, I don't even. There's babies, invisible things.
I mean, that's true. Assuming that there's a plot to it. So far, we've been just throwing babies and invisible things and faces and
explosions, maybe.
Terror.
Like there's a big crater. Things floating off. I don't know. I think
I'm sure it'll be interesting.
Kojima?
Yeah,
it's Kojima, right?
Yeah, Hideo Kojima.
Yeah, he apparently talked with IGN about some of the lore and stuff. And I did not watch that video.
I haven't watched it either.
I'm not sure I will play that game, but you do you.
I mean, that's kind of where I'm at, though. It's like it's cool. Don't get me wrong.
I've never even played any of the Metal Gear Solid, so it's not like I've played any of his stuff.
Well, I mean, like even if you don't play that, right?
Yeah.
What we're seeing here, it looks cool, but the problem is that I still don't know what it is. You haven't actually shown me a game.
Yeah, we haven't seen like. That may have, like, the stuff he showed may have been, like, in-engine or something, but we haven't really seen gameplay.
Yeah, and, I mean, not to ever alarm people, but do remember Dead Island, or the one where they had, you're stuck on a Caribbean island, and you're fighting zombies, and it's like an RPG type of game. That game sold completely on its cinematics, but nobody ever actually saw gameplay.
Right.
Until the game actually came out, and there was actually a fair number of issues with that game, including, apparently, I never played the game, but a buddy told me who had picked up, he said, they accidentally launched a beta version of the game and not the real game. So all the discs that people were getting and downloading from the internet was actually a beta version. They had to release a huge patch that would put everybody on the actual final product of the game.
Wow.
I don't know if that's true or not, because I wasn't a part of it, but that's what he told me when he played through the game. So, And he got it on day one. I thought that was hilarious.
Interesting little.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait till I see some gameplay of this.
Right.
What I assume is to be a game. We keep showing it game related.
I guess, is there anything between now and E3? Probably nothing I can think of, right? Probably
Nothing
E3's the
super
next big thing.
big. Yeah, E3 is the next one, and that won't be until July, June.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that was most of the big stuff from the Game Awards. Cuphead won a lot. I was really happy that Nier Automata won something. They got Best Score Soundtrack, and it is a beautiful one.
I'm sad Neo didn't win anything.
Yeah, I know they were only up for like one thing, Best Action Game, I think.
Yeah,
Wolfenstein 2 won that.
I can understand it though.
Yeah, it's like
Nier-
apparently an amazing first-person shooter.
It's apparently the first one was amazing, and then the sequel to it has been amazing. So, still, I wanted my white guy samurai to win.
Well, that's all I got. What do you got, Meta?
Well, I have, as I reach over real fast, I have a book called Mistborn, which
by Brandon Sanderson.
Yes, Brandon Sanderson. It kind of rhymes, not really, sort of, possibly. Yeah, Mistborn. It is a series last Christmas, which is actually kind of funny because I just completed for Christmas. I made a deal with somebody, and we would trade off book series and read at least one book in that series. To see if we liked the series, because we both knew about our series that we liked, but the other person had never really read of them or even heard of them. So we traded off, and my job was to read Mistborn. So I did like any good person does when they're in a deal with somebody, is I'd wait on it for about a year's worth of time and then complete it really quickly in 1 month.
What did you give over, if I may ask?
I gave over Discworld.
Oh, okay, yes.
So
solid choice.
It's a fantastic choice, I felt. So that was what I handed over. But in turn, I got Mistborn. For those of you who don't know, Mistborn is a series in a world where, without trying to tell you too much about it, but I'm gonna stop myself right here real fast. I'm gonna talk a little bit about it, but then I need to go into spoilers to really get into the details of it. So I will let people know when we're about to go into spoilers really quickly. But anyway, it's in a world where essentially there is a man by the name of the Lord Ruler, and he effectively owns the world. He is reigned over it for 1,000 years, and the population is essentially divided into the Ska, or the slaves, and the nobility. And it follows a few characters as they attempt to essentially overthrow said Lord Ruler in his 1,000-year reign. Utilizing, for a few of them, a power called allomancy, which is the control over certain metals. By ingesting them and then utilizing them themselves, they can affect things, either by controlling potentially somebody's emotions, or even throwing coins at high speed, or flinging themselves through the air, so on and so forth, making them so super strong, etc., etc. It is an interesting book, but I'm going to just give out my very quick overview and thought process of it. Is that it's okay.
Yeah. So Brandon Sanderson is usually less known about like just his prose, the writing and whatnot, more about the world building.
Is he?
Like, yeah, his magic systems are usually pretty great, like very interesting and whatnot. And this is part of the Cosmere series, which is like he's basically got his own little universe of stuff. There's a bunch of series in the Cosmere universe, basically.
I did not know this.
Mistborn is one of them. Yeah. So all of his books have different like magic systems. Like there's one that runs off of colors. You can drain colors to get different effects or whatnot.
Neat.
There's one that involves like writing in the runes, writing in the air, and they get a magical effect.
Huh.
Yeah, he's got a bunch. There's a ton. The dude is a writing robot also. He literally
come
just
out with like
writes
insane
nonstop.
amounts of books a year.
Less now, I think, because he started his fantasy epic series, the Stormlight series, which are like I haven't read everything since Stormlight 2 has come out. I haven't read any of his stuff. But it's like 1,600 pages maybe. Stormlight 2.
That's
and he wants to do
about 1,000 more than the
these.
first book, so of Mistborn that I read. So.
Yeah, Stormlight 1 is a little less, but Stormlight 2 was I just remember that he said because I think he's printed with Tor, and it had the most pages that they could print in a book. like of their binding technology, like the way they bind their books. He maxed it out, and he wants to do 10 of these. So that has taken up a lot of his time.
I could see why.
Yeah, that magic system, that world has a few different magic systems, and they're pretty awesome. Like one involves some gravity control.
I think what's most interesting is just the fact that he's able to come up with all these magic systems. That in itself is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Which I will give him points for it. I will just list off the few things that I did like in the book that really did stand out to me. When he talked about allomancy and ferochemical, those were really cool to learn about. Those were interesting. The Inquisitors were really cool and interesting, albeit they showed up very little in the book. But they themselves are cool. Lord Ruler is he was interesting because he's part of the whole thing in the ending of the book. And Ellen was my favorite character.
Oh, really?
Yes, absolutely my favorite character. A little bit less so as the book went on and you get closer to the end of it. But his first appearance struck a chord with me. I just enjoyed the way he acted and talked and everything.
Well, you would probably enjoy the second one more than maybe?
Possibly. I don't know.
So I guess I don't know how much you wanted, or I don't know what spoilers you had in mind.
I would say let's keep just to the first book. I don't know if I'm going to read the other ones yet or
not.
Well,
I just meant with the first.
I finished the first book, but I guess we'll get into it right now. So for those of you who are listening, this will be spoilers after this part. I'm sure Obs will throw in a tag or something to let you guys know when it ends. So here we go. I gotta say, like, for the majority of the book, though, and I know certain books can start this way. It was a pretty rough droll in the first half of the book, which I'm generally not okay with. I think something kind of has to be interesting a little bit earlier on than going through 300-something pages to eventually find something that's like...
Yeah, this is a lot of setup.
But, like, that's the problem, is, like, you can still have fun with the setup, and that was something I didn't really
I think it's a lot of planning, right? Because this one's kind of Ocean's 11.
It's a lot of planning, but they're still doing stuff in that, but it's never a lot that you see or nothing interesting happening with it. I mean, the most interesting thing I think really happens is the first time you find, when you see Kelsier fight, that's probably one of the more interesting things about it, although...
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting scene.
Although, I don't know, like, I've kind of gotten to the opinion that it's a little too detailed. I actually couldn't keep up with most of what was going on. Not for a lack of trying, but that it just ultimately it's like, oh, he pivots left, then he pushes off, then he flies through the air. And I'm like, he pivoted left to what direction, though? Which direction is pivot left? Was he facing north when he pivoted left? What was happening? Then he threw himself off to the side. Okay, which side? Well, no, he's flying through the air forward. I'm like, what did he do to do that? Which way is he going? Is he upside down? Is he going to make the 10-point landing? I need to know.
Did you see the wires?
Yes. I mean, and it's true, like, it's like, for the most part, you can follow it. It's fine. I'm exaggerating for just funny effect here, but there were points in the combat where I would read it and then I'd have to just go back to make sure that what I read was what I thought was happening. And I'm not a big fan of that. I understand, like, sometimes getting the specifics is needed for combat, but I'm also understanding that sometimes if you get too specific, it gets too detailed and it becomes this slog of details to get through. And that can be sometimes good, and that can sometimes be bad, and that'll be a perspective that's different for everybody. But for me, there are points where it's like, you could probably have just not described this part so detailed, and I would have gotten what you were trying to say anyway.
Yeah. So I'm not to give specific spoilers, but like the second book, like the series is a little weird, or at least like these three books, like they're not really like, each book is kind of different. Like the next one's kind of more political,
which is fine.
And then the third one is just different from that. Like, yeah. So, but I always loved the Mistborn magic system of, like, so you burn metals, like 10 will give you super senses, sort of, or heightened senses, I believe.
Yep. It'll give you
heightened senses. Iron is super strength, or
it's pewter.
Strong. You get stronger.
Pewter.
Or no, pewter. Yeah, pewter. They're all like a base metal and then an alloy.
Yep.
Sort of, I think. Yeah. It's been a while. Um, yeah, and then like because iron and
steel.
yeah, it is steel. Okay, it is push and pull with metals, and they use that with a lot of like fighting scenes.
Yep, because that's one of the bigger things about it. And then you've got like the secret metals, or the quote unquote the metals that really don't matter. You've got gold, and then technically it's alloy, and then you have atium, and then it's alloy.
So Mistborn's always interesting because he always planned to do like 3 trilogies. This one is fantasy. The second one was supposed to be like 1970s-ish technology, and the last one is supposed to be sci-fi.
Oh, really?
Yep. And I don't know. For some reason, he decided to do a Western type technology level 1, and it got so popular he decided to do 3 more of those. Which, yeah. And I think he finished the second one while he was like he had writer's block on another book. Like, again, the dude's a robot when it comes to like writing. So
what was your most favorite character in the book, though, Mao? At least in Mistborn, the first one.
I'm not real sure. I prefer the second Mistborn series to this one. This was one of his much earlier series. It's one of his first. I can't remember if might have been first published even, not first written. I think the one with like there's a dying city was the first written but published later. I'm a fan of Kelsier, or however you say his name.
Nobody pronounces it so, but that's how I would assume to say it too. Kelsier.
I always liked him, but he's like the mentor character and whatnot, and the charming rogue.
Yep, he's gonna die. I knew that from once I picked up the book and his character showed up and he was starting to do all this. I was like, he's gonna die.
Yeah,
his character has to. Oh shit! How very professional of me. But yeah, I kind of knew that. One character that I wasn't sure was going to die was Sazed, the Terraceman steward.
Yes, he's interesting, and they have their own type of magic where they store stuff in magic or metals.
Yep, they store it in metals, and then they can draw upon it at a later point, but it's generally a very poor trade-off because the amount that they pull off, the amount that they store is diminished for what they take away from themselves, and then when they pull it into it, the time that it's utilized is always cut in half for double the effect.
Yeah,
but it's always going to burn out quickly.
Diminishing returns.
Yeah.
And then just for the sake, do they go much into the villain, or the Inquisitor's magic type? In this one, I can't remember.
No, not this one. They don't really explain it too much. Marsh does state, since he obviously because of what he becomes, Marsh does explain though that the process for it is kind of messy. And
so because to describe an Inquisitor, they have like metal spikes driven into their skull.
Yeah.
In their eye sockets.
I'm guessing it's it's a forced fusion of ferrochemical and allomancy because they can. They're super strong. They can enact on a lot of things. They can pull it in, and the like. But they give up some natural senses like actual sight. They don't actually see things with their eyes anymore because there's spikes in them now. Instead, they actually
things that just see spikes.
Yeah, right. They actually see through like chemical, not chemical based. They see through like magic vision, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah, probably something like that.
Because they, for all intents and purposes, they're still seeing things. They just see the metals in everything as well. So,
but yeah, I think I like the third one in the series the most, though. Probably.
Oh, I wouldn't know. I haven't gotten there.
I'm trying to. It's hard to like remember everything about just the first book, right?
Yeah, I can understand. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I don't read nearly as much as I used to.
Yeah, it's the same though. Truth be told, I will state that like Vin, She didn't super interest me all that much, which is kind of depressing
Yeah,
because she's
kind
huge.
of just an author insert, especially in the first book.
It's kind of
Or
unfortunately.
a blank slate character.
I don't know. She wasn't all that interesting to follow. She really wasn't,
No.
which sucks because half of the book is literally following her,
Right.
if not more, for that fact.
She does more in the other books, but yeah, she's not much of anything in the first book.
It's I will say it's also a little bit frustrating for her character because she starts her life her whole life has been one type of thing, and then she
Right.
gets pulled into a crew with Kelsier and their gang, and then 6 months time she's doing things against literally a lifelong time of training, of thought process, of mentality, and so she's suddenly changing herself within 6 months. I'm not saying it's impossible. I am saying it didn't make for a good read in this character, at least in my eyes. It just, I don't know. I feel like if your mentality has been born, quite literally beaten into you, for, I don't know how old she is. She's like 15, 16, whatever. For that long in your lifespan, I would say it's very hard to cut some of those habits like she did. It's not easy. But I mean, that's just a personal complaint of mine. Kelsier, again, for all that he was, the charming rogue, I didn't actually find him all that charming as rogue. Don't get me wrong. He is charming, but he wasn't charming enough, I guess, for me. Like, the effort was there. What his archetype was supposed to be was there. And he definitely had his own things about him. But it felt half alive to me. In a way. He didn't really feel like...
Malcolm Reynolds.
It wasn't a Han Solo, so to speak. Which, I mean, to be fair, it's really hard to be a Han Solo.
Right.
Because, I mean, Han Solo's wonderful. So, but, in that regards to a roguish character, he just didn't really stand out to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, this Mistborn trilogy, like, of his work, is the writing's not that great, to be honest.
I can tell. Like there was one of the other. I mean, like I don't mean to like bash on it because I'm sure there's some people out there who really love this book. In fact, the person who recommended it to me loves the series a lot. So I don't want to bash it to be mean, but yeah, the writing in it isn't super great. I don't, and you, but your explanation of telling me that like this is one of his earliest books.
Yes.
Explains to me that immediately, because this is like me looking at my own writing when I first started and be like, wow, I can't believe I wrote like that kind of thing.
Right. Plus, again, like his strength has always been in like world building stuff. Which I mean, as this series goes on, you get a lot more of this world.
It shows. I mean, the world building in itself, that was one of the better strong standpoints. I will agree with that.
Actually,
it feels stronger.
My favorite character of the first book is probably the Lord Ruler.
Yeah, he is a pretty...
Just his story. And the way everything, the prophecy, whatnot stuff is all told.
Yeah, I did enjoy that part a lot. That's probably
the best,
fun
actually.
to read. Yeah. That was actually really good. That's actually a good point. I totally forgot about that. But yes, reading, that didn't take long to figure out, actually, for the book. At least for me, it wasn't. Because I got to like about maybe the 5th or 6th time I read one of his notes, and I was like, is this the Lord Ruler I'm reading about?
Yeah.
Is this his book that I'm reading? Which, I mean, you'll find out the twist at the end of it. Because there's always a twist in books. But, that was really interesting to read, so. I don't know if I have any more else to say about it. I honestly think it's an okay book. I'm not sure if I'm going to read the rest of them or not. It definitely could have been worse. But I don't think I don't know if it's the kind of book that I'm going to continue on with. It was it was okay. It was solid for what it was. But not enough. I don't know if the characters were enough to interest me. I can't. And I know the second book is going to follow a lot of Vin, and as you stated, like she gets better.
Yeah, it's a lot of Vin and Ellen, I believe.
And Ellen is enjoyable, but I think what I liked about him so much was that he was kind of sparse, and that he had this kind of wittiness, kind of going back and forth with Vin when they did meet with one another, which is what I enjoyed a lot of. but I'm fairly certain that's not really going to be there, which means that he as a character.
I honestly cannot remember
I think that means his character as Ellen is going to have to change it into something a little bit else, especially considering his new position within the world. So
right, yeah, the second one like builds upon that, because there's a lot more political stuff happening now with the fallout from the first book.
Yep. So
you could always just jump to new characters with the Wild West type Mistborn.
I don't.
Those were written years later, so I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. So, but I'll throw it over to Tets for now because we've been on this one for a while. What do you got for us, man?
Well, over the weekend, a good friend of mine gifted me a new game on Steam called Tabletop Simulator, which I know I'm kind of late to the party on, but
it's okay. We're all late to the party on that one. Well, maybe not Mal, but
I was really by it, to be honest. So for those that aren't familiar with what Tabletop Simulator is, it's a program that allows you to either buy DLCs or go to like mods and pick up different board games and play board games online with your friends. It has like a table set up, and based off of who might create the room, you can set different rules or whatever. It's kind of like Roll20 is for pen and paper RPGs, but for things like chess or Dominion or just any board game. We played Castle Panic, which was a lot of fun. It's really versatile. It has a lot of
games.
Yeah, it has a lot of games and a lot of functionality.
There's actually somebody has a mod out there who has I think nearly 1,000 games in their mod list of just board games and card games, just all mashed together in one giant mod. So
that's awesome. Yeah, there's even furthermore, if you at all are skilled, even just a little bit of skill with Unity for making video games, it allows you to import Unity packages. So if you just want to code up something real fast, real easy and then you just export it over to Tabletop, boom, now you have whatever you decided to do, maybe a little bomb that explodes or something.
Code up real fast. That sounds like an oxymoron.
Like smaller things, it's not going to support you doing like a full-on video game through Unity and trying to throw it in there. It's not going to do that. but if you're making some of the smaller things, very limited scripts, but that kind of stuff that you can attach to a very small object and then export it, you can do it that way.
Yeah.
You can also just do Blender and GIMP if you don't want to.
I have been actually personally been very impressed with Tabletop Simulator. I enjoy the crap out of it. It's really nice that it so easily allows you to play tabletop games, and it's really cool to see that people make mods for it that lets you do including the expansions and whatnot as well, so that you can choose what version of the game you really want to play.
I was also surprised at how many in different languages they had.
Yeah, that was interesting too. There was tons of French and Portuguese. Saw that a lot.
So it really does a good job of being able to take. Now, obviously, if you can play board games with your friends at the same table, share a bottle of whiskey and throw some steaks on the grill, that's much better. But if you can't, this is a great alternative, and it's $20 for full price if you don't pick it up on sale.
Yeah.
For how many games that you get?
I mean, all the games are technically free. You don't have to pay for them. Although I would state, anybody who's been making these mods, is that if you do like the game, do go support it and actually buy the game.
I'm surprised it actually never got taken down.
I'm surprised by that too. It's so weird, but. I mean, it's there, but hands down.
I mean, I know. I guess I know that they've sent. Companies will send cease and desist to mod packages. I guess is what they do, not the game itself.
Which I mean, I guess that's true. Yeah, I mean, you can't stop people from picking up the mod and playing it on the simulator. The simulator just gives them a place to play games. So
I mean, you might be able to. They might just not have pursued it yet, or decided not to pursue it.
Yeah.
Or like you can just jump onto their official DLC stuff, and they have a bunch of games in the official DLC that you can pick up. There was I forget some of the games now, but there were some that are like a $60 retail game that they were selling for like $8 on their official DLCs. So, you know, if you're enjoying something, you know, you might be able to just pick it up cheap and then go, oh, this was a lot of fun. I'm going to go get the physical game to play with my friends, you know,
Yeah, so.
And highly recommend doing that. Obviously.
Yeah, obviously. Like, if you really do like the game, if you have a lot of fun with it, do go buy the actual game. I know it's not always feasible for some people, which kind of sucks. Because some of these, to be fair, some of these board games are immensely expensive. $100 for a board game is really high. And then you've got a game like Cthulhu Wars, which we've talked about on here before. $200-something to pick up a game. It's a lot of money. So, I can understand it, but if you can, do support it. I want to make that very clear.
Agreed, 100%.
I did like...
I will say one of the...
Oh, no, go. Go. Let's go. Go. Your move.
Functionality was being able to flip the table.
Yes!
And then whoever owns the room does have a rewind button, so they can rewind table flippage, so you don't actually have to get pissed at somebody for flipping a table. I mean, you probably still will if they are constantly doing it.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Game flow, but,
I think there's actually a way to turn that off, too. You can deny people table flipping,
there is.
But, I mean, why would you do that? Why would you do that?
I mean, I would deny it in real life.
Well, I mean, real life is different. I can't just rewind time in real life.
I didn't know you had that ability in the game.
Breaking my virtual pieces either in the same way I am in real life.
Yeah, that's true.
Or my table.
It is. You can play more than board games though too. You can also play card games on there. Which I guess is the
tabletop game.
I mean, yeah, I guess that really is the thing. There's even miniature games on there. There was what was it? MechWarrior. Yeah, BattleTech was on there, which I was really surprised by. Because that's an arseload of work to make models, which is not a simple task. So you had to make up the models, throw them into there, and then some people even went out of their way and animated some models and whatnot. They actually have like animations.
Models are very high quality too. It's not like a low poly. Like they look like straight up somebody put a lot of loving effort into them.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can always do. Some people might just make tokens or whatnot, but what we saw on there were people actually like made models of the models for the online version in Tabletop Simulator. So it was pretty interesting. I
think it was in the Castle Panic game that we played. Somebody had coded a tablet to actually open up Google, and we went to YouTube, and we were playing bar jazz from the tablet in the game.
Yes, we were. That's what we were doing. We were playing bar jazz. I was blown away by that. I was like, so you want to open up this? And I was like, no, I don't want to open up some weird thing. But then Tetsuo opened it up, and he was like, there's a tablet. And I was like, what? And I zoom out, and there's just suddenly a tablet on the thing. And I'm like, what is this? So
that's when I was like, I wish I had a 3D model for like a glass of whiskey, just because we were listening to bar jazz, playing tabletop.
It was perfect. But yeah, there was a lot of cool stuff on there. I want to go on there and test out more games and play more because, I mean, I've seen other people use it too. I've watched like Let's Plays, quote unquote. I guess it's not really the proper term that should be utilized for these, but nonetheless, they were like, they play a game, a board game or something on Tabletop Simulator, and it's always looked like a lot of fun. And then there are just an arseload of, I mean, they even have Fantasy Flight's L5R LCG on there, so
already,
yeah, they've already got it on there, so. And it's been updated with a number of cards from the packs as well, and not just the core. So it's being constantly updated too.
Yeah, maintained, I guess.
Yeah, maintain would be probably a better word.
But... yeah, we could probably find something to play as one of our Let's attempts or whatever.
Yeah, we could. Let's attempt to not fail at a card game. We could play the Dark Souls one. There is a Dark Souls board game.
Yeah.
And apparently it's hard.
I've heard mixed things about the board game itself.
Yeah. I mean, you can only do so much to translate a video game to a board game.
Right. The coolest thing about that was the pieces in the physical version are pretty amazing.
Are they? That's pretty cool.
Well, the stock figures for like D&D were pretty well detailed too. That was interesting in there.
Yeah. I like any game that like takes its figures but then sizes them to I think, what is it, 8 millimeter? Millimeter, not milliliter. Millimeters.
Yeah, well, 8mm or 15mm are the two common ones.
I think Pathfinder / D&D tend to do the 8mm, don't they?
Yeah, and Warhammer 40k is also 8mm.
Yeah, I love any game that does that and sizes it to that size, because then you can use it outside of the game as well, and it'll fit to like tile sets and whatnot. It's wonderful.
They have Scythe in the official
close
download.
To, I think in scale in model train stuff. So whenever you go out to buy like terrain, you can buy properly sized model terrain stuff.
Yep. It's always cool when people do stuff like that. I mean, like, I know it's not like, sometimes they're like not intending for that to be the point, or that's not really something to think about, but anytime I can use a model from a game in another game, that's functionality. Awesome. I've done that tons. Like I've said it before, but I've done that tons with the Cthulhu Wars set, because they're 8mm.
Oh, yeah.
So I've done that before with them. I'll use them for like stand-ins or other creatures. Lily has done it with her games as well. It's a lot of fun, and it's nice to be able to like say, cool, I can use these elsewhere too. But anyway, yeah, Tabletop Simulator was a lot of fun. We will definitely have to try that at some point for one of our attempts to play. We'll need to think of a game though.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could like print up maps for on Roll20, import them, and then like actually play.
You're joking, but they actually do have somebody actually created a D&D simulator for Tabletop Simulator. So they actually have like character sheets and whatnot that you can type into and create characters, and you can run your game through Tabletop Simulator.
Basic functions as well. Whenever you load in, you choose which color, and which pretty much associates what seat around the table you're taking. But there's a little notebook that you can open up, and there's a general page, and then there's color pages. And you're not allowed to see the pages that are not your color if you're being a player. But use that as your character sheet if you so wanted.
Yep.
It's got the Fire Emblem Cypher card game in it.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I think it has all the cards for that one too.
Yeah, and translated, because it's Japan only, I believe.
Nice. See, they do that kind of stuff too. That's badass.
40K.
Yep. And
like all of the Arkham Horror, Eldritch Horror, Eldritch Sign.
Just looking through most popular.
Yep.
Pokemon Master Trainer, 5 generations.
Yeah, they've got tons. It's like I said, there was some guy who had a mod.
I had the first Pokemon
thousands.
Master Trainer, but when I was a kid, it was like the Pokemon board game. You'd go around the first gym or whatever, collecting Pokemon and then trying to get to the Indigo League.
Yep.
Circular cards for each of the Pokemon that you flipped upside down.
Discs.
And when you landed on it, you'd flip it up. So there was always a chance that you could possibly run into like Mewtwo, like in Route 1.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah. Tabletop Simulator was a lot of fun. It's worth it. If you like board games and you want a way to play with people across the country that you normally don't get to hang out with, it's a good way to do it. All right, well, I think we'll call that an end to this one. So,
all right.
This has been episode 36 of Podcasts of the Five Rings, your source of enlightenment in the realm of video games, tabletop, anime, film, and tech. To catch updates about the podcast or for other news, give us a follow on your social media platform of choice. We have Twitter at Podcast5R, Facebook of P5R Podcast. We have our YouTube channel, which I believe is also Podcast5R. And you can get up there. If you also want to know, we are found on iTunes and SoundCloud. And we do release each section of our episodes day by day on YouTube, with the full video releasing on Friday.
Check out MetaStream.
Oh, yeah. That's that too. I forgot to advertise myself.
I got you.
Okay, I appreciate it. Yes, I do have a stream. If you want to check it out, it is twitch.tv/PSO Flow. I play games there. I'm an idiot there. I play with other people as well. So if you like that kind of thing, you can check it out too. I think that's it. I think I've covered everything that Obs would want me to cover.
Sure.
Okay.
If not,
If
he can, I don't know, edit in something after this.
He'll put like some weird image or something saying I did a horrible job. All right. We'll catch you guys later. Bye.
Bye.